welcome to Live Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Sam.
And today we are beginning a 2-day article all about a problem that really hits people most in their teenage years, dealing with acne. That's right, pimples or zits, as we sometimes call them. Dealing with acne, solutions for troubled skin. Now, looking at you, Sam, you have wonderful skin these days. So I'm imagining that as a teenager, you also had wonderful skin. Or actually, maybe you had terrible skin as a teenager, and now that's why you have wonderful skin. Which was it?
Well, I think as far as skin goes,
Yes.
I got pretty lucky in this respect because I had really dry skin.
Okay.
And as we will learn in this article, a lot of the issues with pimples and zits and all those things come from really oily skin.
True.
So I had really dry skin. Of course, I still had some acne, but never too bad.
Okay.
I had some friends who had it very bad and had to look for really advanced solutions. But of course, dry skin also has a lot of problems. I had a lot of cracks and some bleeding like on my hands and stuff. That's not fun either.
I guess in the winter in North America when the air is dry, that was really bad
That
for
was
you.
really tough. My skin would flake on my face.
Oh
so
my
I didn't
gosh.
have acne, but I had flaky skin because it was just too dry and the wind and the cold. It was not good.
Did you ever wish that you had more acne and less flaky, dry skin? Did you ever say, hey, I wish I had oily acne skin like my friends? No.
I definitely preferred the dry skin, but it was not, it wasn't all sunshine and roses.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a good lesson. Of course, no one can really have perfect skin naturally. We all have problems, especially in those teenage years. So let's look at our article, Dealing with Acne, Solutions for Troubled Skin. We'll get into it right now.
While there are many fantastic things about being a teenager, one of the worst, without a doubt, is acne. Acne is when pimples or zits form on skin, most often on the face and neck. If you're a teenager, you probably know the stress of waking up each morning not knowing if you're going to find a swollen red zit on your chin, nose, or cheeks.
Okay, yes, so the article, Dealing with Acne, also known as pimples or zits, those kind of red spots that you get on your face, especially in your teenage years, solutions for troubled skin. And when we say troubled, we kind of mean with problems, all right? Skin with problems, with challenges, with things that aren't going quite right.
Yes, and so we jump right into our article and it says, while there are many fantastic things about being a teenager, one of the worst, without a doubt, is acne. So yes, teenage years are great for all kinds of fun things and, lots of stuff going on, but acne, not fun. And so we had this word fantastic in the sentence, and fantastic is an adjective that just means awesome, great, wonderful, all those super positive words. You can use fantastic in that situation. Just like this example sentence that says there are lots of fantastic things to do when you are in Berlin. So if you go there, lots of fantastic things to do and see and eat and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Even if you have acne, you can still have a good time in Berlin. Very true. Acne. Let's talk about this. Acne is when pimples or zits form on skin, most often on the face and neck. That's true. You can get them down here. I mean, you can get them on your shoulders. You can get them everywhere. But of course, the ones most people would see, the ones that might make you feel embarrassed, would be on your face and your neck. If you're a teenager in your teen years, you probably know the stress of waking up each morning not knowing if you're going to find a swollen red zit on your chin, nose, or cheeks, or forehead, or right here between your eyes, or back here. Yeah, and lots of different places these zits, these pimples or acne can show up. And of course, you wake up in the morning and you don't want to see them swelling on your face, especially if it's the morning before a school dance.
Yes, or picture day.
Picture day, a big date. with a girl or a boy or someone you like. Oh, that would be terrible because, of course, these pimples, they start under the skin inside those little holes and then they start to grow and that will make them swell. And that's when we start to see them. They start to sort of get bigger and bulge out away from your skin. And they're also kind of red and whatever. Anyway, swell is to become bigger, all right? So generally, this is something we would talk about with medicine or with our bodies. Often when we are hurt or when we have injured ourselves, certain parts of our bodies might swell. You might have noticed this if you hurt your wrist by falling down or twist your knee or your ankle playing sports. After maybe 30 minutes or an hour or something like that, the whole area of your body has gotten bigger. It's filled with blood and stuff like that that's going there to take care of the injury, but it kind of expands. Another thing that you might see that swells is if you get a towel or a sponge and you put it in water, it might seem to get bigger. As it picks up more of that water, it gets bigger, it starts to swell. It's kind of like grow, but it's not really a natural process like that, so we use this word to swell. For example, my knee began to swell after I was hit in the leg by a baseball. Ouch! That would be a big bump. The same way if you bump your head, it'll start to swell. You'll get that rounded bump area. So there you go. Acne, not much fun, but don't worry. We have some solutions for you coming up after the break, so stay where you are. We'll be back in a moment.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。大家都应该不喜欢脸上长痘痘吧？那我们这2天的课程就是关于如何处理恼人的痤疮。我们先补充几个痘痘的相关单字。一开始我们看到 acne 是痤疮、青春痘，那它是医学上的正式说法，是不可数名词。那Pimple 它表示青春痘或是面泡，那它是可数名词。还有 zit 可以指青春痘啊、小脓泡啊、丘疹，那它也是可数名词。好，课文一开始提到说，青少年时期呢有许多非常棒的事情，但毫无疑问的是，最糟的事情之一就是痤疮了。如果你是青少年，可能就会懂那种压力，也就是早上醒来很担心自己下巴、鼻子或脸颊上面突然出现红肿的那种丘疹。好，单字 fantastic 它是形容词，形容极好的、奇妙的。那 Sam 老师有用到 awesome 这个字 ，awesome 是形容令人赞叹的、非常棒的。下一个单字 swell 它是动词，表示肿或是肿胀。那在后面加上 ing swelling， 它可以用来指肿胀处或是肿块。Mike 老师则用到 bulge 这个字 bulge bulge 当动词可以指凸起或是鼓起的意思。接华课文中。
Acne is caused by the natural oils on our skin. Our skin produces a certain amount of oil to keep it from drying out. However, when there is too much oil, our pores, the small holes in our skin from which oil emerges, can get blocked up. A pore can also fill up with dead skin cells and bacteria. When this happens, the pore becomes red, tender, and filled with pus. A pimple has formed. Teenagers are more likely to suffer from acne due to the chemical changes that happen in our bodies when we go from being children to adults. These chemical changes cause teenagers to produce more oil than usual, which results in more zits.
Okay, welcome back. So, as we have been talking about, we are talking about acne, zits, pimples, all those kinds of different words that describe the same basic thing. So what exactly is it and how does it form? How does it happen so we know how to treat it? Well, if we look at our article, it says acne is caused by the natural oils on our skin. Our skin produces a certain amount of oil to keep it from drying out. However, when there's too much oil, our pores, the small holes in our skin from which oil emerges, can get blocked up. So, again, your skin, if you ever look really carefully, you will see lots of little tiny holes. Those are called your pores. and that's where the oil comes out of. So if you're not careful or good about keeping your face clean, they can get blocked pretty easily if there's too much oil or dirt or bacteria or any of that kind of stuff.
Interesting. And part of being a teenager as your body grows is your face is producing more of this oil at that time of your life, which makes it more likely for teenagers to get acne. But if this oil, yes, is emerging from your pores, of course, your pores, as Sam explained, those little holes, also sweat, of course, comes out of your pores as well. When something emerges, it basically comes out of somewhere, all right? So if you think of a seed, when you put a seed and cover it with dirt, and pour some water on it. After 2 or 3 days, you might see, boink, a little green thing starting to grow. We would say that little green thing is emerging from the soil or from the dirt. It's coming out. Or maybe it's a really cold day and you've been sleeping in bed with the blankets over you, and then the alarm clock goes off and you emerge from under the blankets. You sort of appear or you come out from under the blankets, kind of like a little mouse. It says, a mouse here, a mouse emerged from the hole to grab the piece of cheese. Yeah, so it kind of came out, probably slowly looked around with its little head, and then came out of the hole, or it emerged from the hole. Let's go back to the article. A pore, these little holes in our skin, a pore can also fill up with dead skin cells and bacteria. So dirt can get in there, dead skin cells, which of course just fall off naturally all the time, and bacteria, the dirty stuff in the air or the water. So that's why maybe just splashing water on your face with your dirty hands is not such a good way to clean your face. That's why you need to use warm water and a soap and all that kind of stuff to get rid of many things, including dirt, dead skin cells, and bacteria.
Yes, and so bacteria, this is something that you encounter all the time, constantly, because it's everywhere. And bacteria is teeny, teeny, tiny living organisms that cause a lot of diseases, actually. So a lot of times when you get sick, they might say, do you have a bacterial infection or a viral infection? Meaning, did it come from a bacteria or is it a virus? And usually bacteria we can treat with medicine and things like that, but viruses tend to just have to run their course because there's nothing that can really fight it. So the same thing with the bacteria on our face. It can be washed off, it can be taken care of, but it might need to be taken care of with specific medicine or soap or things like that. And so we have our example sentence, and it says, I cleaned the table to get rid of any harmful bacteria, which is a good thing to do. Same with washing your hands with soap to get rid of the actual bacteria, not just washing your hands with water, which I see so many people do here that they don't use the soap.
Yeah, soap is kind of important.
Yes.
And of course, bacteria is also important to keep away from your food poisoning. Anytime you've eaten something and felt bad later, that's probably bacteria got in the food. Back to our article, when this happens, when these little pores become blocked with, nasty stuff like dirt or bacteria, when this happens, the pore becomes red, tender, and filled with pus. Yeah. Pus. A pimple has formed. That's right. So that's what we're going to see. It's going to be red, it's going to be tender, and there will be pus in there if you decide to squeeze the pimple, which of course you're not really supposed to do, but many of us do that. Anyways, the feeling of little bit of pain in an area of your body, we might often use this adjective. That part of my body or that area is tender. It's not really painful. If you touch it, I won't scream or cry or yell, but I'll go, ow, don't touch there. It's sore. It's tender. So maybe you fell down and you got a bruise a few days ago, and as your body heals, eventually it will be less painful, but it still might be tender. Or if you decide to eat some hard, crunchy food, and you notice that, wow, one of my teeth kind of hurts a little bit. It's not like that electric pain that you might have when you really need to see a dentist, but if it's tender, maybe you should brush your teeth a little more carefully, floss, or maybe go and see a dentist. But it won't leave you screaming in pain and avoiding all food because it hurts too much to eat. No, it's like a little bit sore. The cut on my arm was very tender and sore, so please don't grab me there, but I can still do things normally.
Yes, and so now if we get back to our article, it says, Teenagers are more likely to suffer from acne due to the chemical changes that happen in our bodies when we go from being children to adults. So yes, during that time, a lot of things are changing, and one is your skin and all the oils too. And so it says, these chemical changes cause teenagers to produce more oil than usual, which results in more zits. Also, I think a lot of teenagers don't necessarily wash their face as often as they probably should. I remember as a teen, I was like, oh, I'm going to bed, and then not wash my face.
And then waking up with a zit the next day. Exactly. So a lot of the things that are happening in your body, you're growing, you're getting hair in weird places, your voice is changing, but all of those chemicals can also give you zits. So yay, that's great. But don't worry, we're going to have some good solutions for you tomorrow, and of course, you will eventually grow up to be not a teenager, so that's another nice thing to look forward to. But if acne is a problem for you now, come back tomorrow because we'll have some helpful advice to give you. We'll see you then. Don't forget, wash your face with soap and warm water and clean hands. Bye.
痤疮是由皮肤上的天然油脂引起的，那我们的皮肤呢会产生一些油脂来防止皮肤干燥。不过当这个油脂过多的时候，我们的毛孔就可能会堵塞。那毛孔也可能会充满着死皮细胞啊，还有细菌。当这种情况发生时，毛孔就会变红、敏感，还有充满了脓液。好，那这时候痘痘就形成啦。我们从儿童到成人时期，体内会发生化学变化。那这些化学变化导致青少年比平常产生了更多的油脂，因此啊，青少年更可能会长痤疮。好，单字 emerge 它是动词，表示冒出或是出现。bacteria 它表示细菌，那这个字是 bacterium 的复数形。Sam 老师在讲解时，他有提到 organism。organism 表示生物或是有机体。那老师还有提到 bacterial infection 表示细菌感染 ，viral infection 则表示病毒感染。下一个单字 tender 在这边是形容身体部位是一碰就痛的或是敏感的。那这边3个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 keep 受词 from 加上动词 ing 表示阻止某人怎么样，避免防止某事物怎么样。Keep 在这边可以用 prevent 或者是 stop 代替。举例来说 ，Holly waters her plants every day to keep them from drying out. Holly 每天替植物浇水，以防它们干透。那补充一下 ，dry out 当不及物用就可以表达变干、干掉的意思。好，第二个重点是介系词加上 which 的用法。which 引导的形容词子句呢，句尾是介系词的时候，而且关系代名词 which 是介系词的受词。这时候我们可以把介系词移到 which 的前面。举例来说 ，This is the town which he spent his childhood in。这是他度过童年的城镇。这时候我们可以把介系词 in 移到 which 的前面，那就变成 This is the town in which he spent his childhood。好，第3个重点是主词 be likely to 加上原形动词，可以表达可能怎么样怎么样。likely 的前面可以加上 more、less、very 等等的副词来修饰可能的程度。举例来说 ，People who exercise regularly are less likely to catch a cold。规律运动的人比较不容易感冒。好，那以上这些讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
While there are many fantastic things about being a teenager, one of the worst, without a doubt, is acne. Acne is when pimples or zits form on skin, most often on the face and neck. If you're a teenager, you probably know the stress of waking up each morning not knowing if you're going to find a swollen red zit on your chin, nose, or cheeks. Acne is caused by the natural oils on our skin. Our skin produces a certain amount of oil to keep it from drying out. However, when there is too much oil, our pores, the small holes in our skin from which oil emerges, can get blocked up. A pore can also fill up with dead skin cells and bacteria. When this happens, the pore becomes red, tender, and filled with pus. A pimple has formed. Teenagers are more likely to suffer from acne due to the chemical changes that happen in our bodies when we go from being children to adults. These chemical changes cause teenagers to produce more oil than usual, which results in more zits.
Here's how to play. The host will be holding 3 cards. Each card will have 2 sentences containing a secret vocabulary word or phrase that has been replaced by the word bear. The host will read the sentences out loud for the contestants to guess. Whoever guesses first gets a point. The person with the most points wins. And you can play along too.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen.
I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Matt.
Today we're playing Guess the Bear, so let's get started. All right, this is a noun. Number 1, please leave me alone. I don't want any bear. Number 2, Ronnie got into bear with the teacher for playing a prank on her.
Trouble?
Okay, Matt.
Yeah,
first. You almost, but Matt, point 1 for Matt. So number 1, please leave me alone. I don't want any trouble. Number 2, Ronnie got into trouble with the teacher for playing a prank on her. All right, number 2, this is also a noun. For the first one, Nate kept a small garden on his bear. Number 2, the old man looked down at the street from his bear.
Balcony?
Good job, Matt. All right, it's okay. We can still get the last one. Number 1, Nate kept a small garden on his balcony. And number 2, the old man looked down at the street from his balcony. The first one I think threw you off, right?
Makes sense.
Okay, this is a phrase, 2 words. Number 1, Frank's theory is bear, nothing but rumors. Number 2, this movie is Bear, a true story.
Based on.
Good job, Caroline. Okay, number 1, Frank's theory is based on nothing but rumors. And number 2, this movie is based on a true story. All right, well, he got 2 points, you got 1, but I think you got the one that was close.
I agree she got the hardest one.
Yeah, so
It was 2 words.
Let's call it
It was
even.
2 words.